So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the show. Before I get into the show, please don't forget to give me that, thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, you won't regret it. Remember, this is a public, the only one, the only public service watch announcement channel that comes with the truth, right? So you won't regret it. I first want to tell all of you, I wasn't gonna do a live today, but I got a very kind comment, message, excuse me, by Mr. Thurston Howell III, and he was reminding me that today we had two precious metal materials that had record days, and he asked me if I was going to go live, and I replied back to him, whatever, I'll do my best, whatever, I'm trying, but I'm here. And I have a couple of things that I want to talk to you guys about, and you're super bien eso. You're welcome. Eh, I want to say, that it's been an unbelievable, week so far in the precious metal uh, materials. It's been great, and I've been very, very, very happy, and I just want to start by saying that rhodium today, it went all the way up to $7,400. Rhodium. The other day was at 7,025, man, 7,025, and today is at 7,400. On Monday, because I've done a live stream for the last, I've noticed, like, every day, to be honest. And palladium was, I think, $1,254. And ladies and gentlemen, palladium today, saludos, Mr. Aquiles, saludos, today is at $1,500. It's really el comportamiento, the way precious metals behaving is, at least to me, I when I use the word frightening, like I'm frightened, I got scared. I mean that in a positive way. I'm overwhelmed that it has moved so quickly. Maybe to you guys it's nothing because maybe you guys haven't been monitoring those precious metals, but I have for all these years, and I can go back and look at papers that I have put down, man, and it was, it's crazy. And again, palladium is at $1,500. And ladies and gentlemen, again, platinum. There was a moment there that today it was at $1,700, and it closed at 1690, $1,690. But ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you, gold is on fire. Gold is on fire. But this more common metal is doing even better. I repeat it again. Gold is on fire. But this more common metal is doing even better, ladies and gentlemen. It's crazy. There's no question that gold prices are having a big moment, But there's another metal, like I'm telling you, doing even better. Doing even better, ladies and gentlemen. I already did the part of gold for you guys. I promoted. That's right, Mr. Donor, correct. Silver. Silver's doing even better, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't have to keep on pushing no more silver because I already conquered that already. I told you. So now I'm going to something that every single person, you can buy gold, but every single person can buy silver, and it makes it much easier for all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to tell you what they're saying about silver, I mean, I am gonna tell you, but what it's incredible what's happening with silver. You know, silver is proving to be a metal worth watching. Listen to this, watching. Even as all eyes are on gold. You imagine that? We know that gold es el macho, is the macho. Gold is the man, es el bravo. But you know, silver, papi, when I tell you certain things, you're gonna understand what I mean, you know? Silver is proving to be a metal worth watching, even as all eyes are on gold. You know, the iShares, the MSCI Global Silver and Metal Miners ETF, SLVP, is the top. I repeat, is the top performing actively traded sector fund this year, up to 141.2%. Papi, es una cosa de loco. That's silver. That's silver, 141.2%. Says Morningstar Direct, that edges out even the number one spot, gold miners, ETF, Van Eck, Junior Gold Miner ETF, GDXY, up 139.7%. Silver, and I repeat to you guys, silver is a champ. Silver is a champ. Just to let you know where silver is going to. It's unbelievable what's happening with silver. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, you had in that January of 1980, the Hunt brothers tried to corner the market, the silver market, you know, and it was manipulated. And it had a price of $49.45 in 1980. If you go to 1980 and you go to 2025, papi, you're talking about something that was out of this world. People, you know, whoever was banking on that at the moment, hizo un billete, made big, big, big money. You know, the equivalent of 1980 to 2025, oh, honey, that was a lot of money, you know? But it was being, you know, manipulated by these Hunt brothers, you know? Eran dos delincuentes, you know? You know what I'm trying to say, you know? And then, ladies and gentlemen, you had that April of 2011. Maybe you guys don't know, maybe you guys do know, you know? You know what I'm trying to say, Damon. You know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Damon, for writing that down. We need tons of silver for solar panels, energy. Ladies and gentlemen, I mean, all of you are dropping knowledge. All of you, Damon, Mr. Dona, Nelson, Thurston Howard III. Ladies and gentlemen, on April 2011, ladies and gentlemen, gold went all the way up, and it was for real at that time because the situation was not good economically, you know. We had some things going on, inflation. I don't know what it was, you know. I don't want to go back there. I don't want to remember 2011, ladies and gentlemen, you know. But it was at $48.70, papi. $48.70. And ladies and gentlemen, I gotta tell you with all honesty, you know, I haven't given you the price of silver. Silver today, papi. Silver today, you know, it went all the way up and it broke that record from 2011. It broke that record like a 9 something a.m. in the morning, papi. It went all the way up to $49.18. Crazy times, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening out there, Bobby. Crazy times. You know, I'm happy that you 15 are looking at this because there's crazy times. What's happening out there, and it's like I told you yesterday, you know, it's like a count view, you know, of numbers moving. That's the way it's behaving. It just keeps on moving. And it's unbelievable when I see that price of $49.18, you know, I go, oh my God, this thing is outperforming, you know, El Macho Man of gold is outperforming it. And ladies and gentlemen, what they're talking about silver right now, I don't want to scare you people when I say this, but I have to tell you because this is what I do, because I'm stupid like that. Some people already are talking about silver hitting a number. This is crazy, ladies and gentlemen. It's even kind of embarrassing to say it because it's kind of strong. But, you know, what you hear, you repeat, allegedly. And what you're hearing out there is scary. They're talking about gold can hit over $200 sometime in the middle of 2026. You know, am I saying that? No. This is what I'm hearing. And these people, son unos maniáticos. These people are maniacs. You know, these people are maniacs. You know, saying $200 of silver, but they're saying that silver is going to become something like gold. You know, like gold. They're saying that it's silver, it's not gold, but they're saying that it's going to become something like gold. Because gold prices, ladies and gentlemen, we're not going to be able to touch it. We're not going to be able to touch gold. We are not going to be able to touch gold. That's why they're saying that silver va a reemplazar a gold. Gold is just going to be a commodity. I don't know, an asset. I don't know what it is, but you know, eso no lo vamos a poder tocar. You're not going to be able to be putting on those Cuban chains, fat chains, you know. No, eso es because we're not gonna be able to afford it. You know, you're not gonna be able to afford to go into Costco and say, give me that chain that costs $1,000. It's not gonna cost $1,000 no more. It's gonna cost you 10 racks. You want that chain? 10 racks. Porque se va a convertir en algo serio. Do you understand what I'm saying, or you guys don't understand what I'm trying to say? Do you understand me? You can tell me I don't understand you. And I say, okay, no me entendió. Van a reemplazar el oro con la plata. En lo que es efectivamente. That's right. That's right. Tú entiendes, tú me entendiste, ¿verdad? Thurston Howard, lo van a reemplazar. Ok, ya el oro no lo puede tocar más Thurston, no lo puede tocar Kino, no lo puede tocar Nieve, no lo puede tocar Damon. No lo puede tocar. Pero pueden tocar la plata. You can touch, you know, silver. Papi, estos monstruos son el diablo. Esto, nobody's going to tell you this. And that's what happened. That's why those people over there, you know, the Rothschilds, you know, the Rockefellers, the JP Morgan, that's why you have to be, you know, sitting next to them, like Mr. Aaron Russo. You know Aaron Russo? Aaron Russo was sitting down. He got a chance to sit down next to these people, but it was a monster, and he bugged out. He bugged out. You know, he bugged out. He couldn't handle what he was hearing. Like, if you give me the opportunity to sit down with a Rothschild, I'm being honest, and a Rockefeller, I'm going to suck it all in. I'm going to suck it all in. But there's people that, you know, along in that conversation, you're gonna hear things that you're not gonna wanna, know about. You're not gonna wanna know about implanting something in your hand, so it can be the credit card, all that type of stuff. I'm getting a little bit out of it where we're at, but I'm trying to tell you how this works, And if these people, they tell you ahead of time, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I told you something yesterday, and I'm going to repeat it one more time to the ones that didn't hear it. There was a gentleman that he was a big time politician, and he was out of New Jersey, and I believe he was Cuban. And he had his wife, blah, 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 blah. And these people were not doing so many good things in the, while they were in the politician field, They got the guy with a bunch of, kilos and Franklin $100 bills. This person knew already something. He knew something. They all know something. They know which way, the Menendez. That's right. Bobby, Bobby Menendez, el cubanito, out of over there from New Jersey, un delincuente. He got pinched. It's nothing wrong. You got pinched, Bobby. You got pinched. And the wife also too, stack of golds too. But why? So there was people already that were getting prepared. They were getting prepared for this. And I don't see, I don't, I want to stop saying already what numbers I believe that gold is going to go to. But I already finished telling you that you're not going to be able to afford it. You're not going to be able to afford, I want a little simple gold chain. It costs $10,000. But that thing cost $500 the other day. Now, no more. It costs $500. Está hecho para rico. Para rico. The other thing that I want to tell you is, too, that they're telling you she took them receipts, man. Fannie Mae. There you go. Another thing that again, because today I had some time and I was able to communicate with a couple of people, and I asked the questions that I always ask you guys, if there is any gold in that place, Fort Knox, Saludos, Alex. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. And I asked a few people, and ladies and gentlemen, they say that there's like 4,700. I don't know, 4,700 tons over there in the Fort Knox. But ladies and gentlemen, everybody that I talk to says, man, we don't have no gold, man. We don't have no gold. And I know that gentleman from Pennsylvania Avenue, but I've been telling you, Mr. Donor, I've been telling you since day one where I believe, allegedly, I believe all the gold is at. I've been telling you it's in the Vatican. I've been telling you. Over there in the Vaticano, the Rothschilds, and you know what else I told you? The Chuba Jews, Chuba Jews. I forgot how to say their name right now. And I'm telling you what's going on. We don't have no gold. We don't have no gold. The Chabad. There you go. Thank you very much. The Chabad. These are real, Papi. Listen, when I talk about the Chabad, I don't want you to misunderstand me. I'm not saying nothing bad about the Vatican. I'm not saying nothing bad about the Rothschilds. And I'm not saying nothing bad about the Chabad. I'm just telling you what it is. I'm telling you the deep, if you want to hear the word, if I get a thunder lightning and we go off, lo fuimos. The deep state, Papi. And it's like that. It goes all out. It goes all out. Se abre. Brrr, abre todo. I don't think personally, and maybe if you guys can convince me that there is, Papi, you know how long they've been asking to show what they have in Fort Knox? Papi, too many years. And what they tell you is the people say there's no gold because it's a conspiracy. Coño, termina ya. They would not audit Fort Knox. Exactly, they won't. You know what I'm trying to say, luxury gentlemen. So they won't. Because no hay nada, papi. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. They must have been, they must have come in at 3 o'clock in the morning and saca todo el oro, dáselo a la China. Give it to China, give it to Russia, give it to India. Get it out of here. And it's hard to even understand if that really happened allegedly, what were the Americans thinking? You know, eso es lo más grande que hay. You know, that's, you have, gold is king. You're the king if you have gold. And they saying that they have so much. No hay nada, papi. Esto está jodido. Esto está malo. And now están reemplazando. They're replacing now the gold with silver. You know, silver people can't touch it no more, because when we finish with these numbers, and I don't really think that, I believe that everybody that has a pawn shop, that they have been chasing after gold for minimum the last 7 years. The last 7 years, papi, yeah, they melted all. Too many little earrings, too many little necklaces, you know, little string necklaces, you know. Ya no queda más ya. There's no more. Now es al revés. It's like Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil, he's buying. He's buying ounces. He's buying, I don't know what he's buying. I'm just saying, I don't know what he's buying. But they're buying now. Now give me 5 ounces. Give me 10 ounces. Because there's no more go out there. El oro se terminó. Limitations. Yes, exactamente. When you're luxury, you're dropping too much knowledge, papi. You need to open up your own channel. No hay más oro. There's no more gold, so this is why this thing is just going like that. And you don't even feel it. Because you're sleeping at night and it's like this. And when you wake up, it's up here. But what's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was a breaking day. And today is a new record day. Do you know what gold is today, ladies and gentlemen? Like I'm telling you, it just keeps on moving up. When I finish this in the next 20 minutes, subió más para arriba. It's at $4,039.68. $4,039.68. Yeah. You know, so esto está, you know, que ya. You go to an example. You go to downtown, and I'll talk to one of my friends. As he's into buying gold, and he's told me there's no more gold. They're not bringing it in no more. They're not bringing it in. You know what they're bringing in now? Before they would bring a high school ring, 10-karat gold. You know, a technical school graduation, became a plumber, became an electrician, became a nurse. You know, the little rings. 14 karat with a little, you know, color of the stone of the college you went, the technical school you went. They're bringing that in. They come in with a una tuerca, and they take out the little green shot, throw in the garbage, and melt that. You know, that's not even around no more. You know what's coming now? People are coming in con el sobrecito. 3 months ago, I told you that they had in Costco, and I know you guys know this. They had in Costco for $3,065, because I still have a picture of it, 3 months ago, and today's at $4,000. They're bringing in that in. They're bringing that all sealed up with a little coin in them, you know, whatever it is, a little square, whatever it is. Pay me. Pay me. You know what I'm trying to say, Alex. That's what they are buying now. Or they're buying a kilo, or they're buying whatever it is. You know, I don't know what it brings. And that's what's going on, because there's no more gold out there. No hay más. A todo el mundo, they took everybody and they turned them around, they shaped them so they can let go of the gold they had. You know, little bracelets, ankle bracelets, little rings, wedding bands. Papi, se jodió todo. Se jodió todo, no hay más ya. There's no more gold. The only gold that's left is the one that Dr. Evil is stacking up still. That one. But that beautiful, you know, pendant, there was a cross pendant, that's not around no more. Y lo que viene, papi, tú lo sabes. Julius, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to explain to them everything so they know. No hay más oro para comprar, papi. No hay más oro. I know people that have bags of, you know, just oro malo, you know, just scrap. You know, high school rings, you know, a pendant, #1 champion, #1 mom, #1 grandmother. Do you hear what I'm trying to say? Do you really hear me? You know, #1 grandmother, #1 mother, #1 father. You know, the father's here no more, the mother's here no more, the grandma's here no more. Melt it. Melt it. Uncle Manny too es un descarado. Uncle Manny un descarado. Eddie Monster es un descarado. All these people, like I told you already yesterday, and I'll remind you again, they don't have nothing else to, to get you with. The watches are dead. The watches are dead. They're all flipped. They're all flipped to gold. They're all flipped. They're all negotiating in gold. In gold, whatever it is, in gold. That's where the money is at, papi. And everybody, like I said again, everybody is now selling that ounce that they bought. I say Costco so you can understand, but you can buy it anywhere. So the one that bought it for $2,700 and today it's at $4,000, papi, to them they're making money. Maybe not to you, and that's fine. But the one that bought, that invested $2,700, and they're gonna pay you back 98% of what you bought, papi, you make some pocket change. You know, you can buy some Chef Boyardee cans. You know, spaghetti. You know what I'm trying to say? You know, Chef Boyardee. I don't know. You guys don't know about that? You know, I became a man eating Chef Boyardee. You know, you can buy that canned good now. You know, you went up from the Spam to Chef Boyardee. Porque la situación está jodida. And more Spam, exactly. So you can't, because that person, he had an ounce of gold. What a mashuganer. He sold it. No, he's not a mashuganer. He made a couple of, he made a G. You know, a G on something that a bank doesn't even pay you that. You know, these people made it in a couple of months. Tú entiendes lo que yo te quiero decir, Thurston Howard III. And I'm telling you all this so you know what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, gold price rose to $4,039, you know, and 68 cents an ounce on October the 8th of 2025, up 1.35 from the previous day. Over the past month, gold's price has risen to 11.37 and it's up. Listen to this so you can compare oranges from Florida, oranges from California. This one from California has a lot of juice, and this one has a beautiful cover, you know, nice and orange, perfect, you know, beautiful, but less juice. And ladies and gentlemen, it has risen in 11.37% and is up by a 54.87 compared to the same time last year. Una jodienda. But as you can see, you compare gold, that 54.87, and you compare it to the silver, el silver le está dando patada por la nalga. Silver is just, you know, playing with gold, playing with gold. So the reason that I can switch now from gold to silver is because, papi, I would say $4,000. I said it wrong. I would say $3,000 when this channel, and I'm telling you, their subscribers in this channel, they know what I'm saying is 100% the truth, 1,000% the truth. And I would say, hey man, this is gonna hit $3,000. Who made you the king bee of gold, man? Who are you? Who are you? This and that, blah 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 blah. And I said, no comas mierda. Yo le decía, no comas mierda. I would tell them, Sapica, don't come back to my channel no more. Sapica, descarado. I would tell them all that. Have they come around again? At 3,000, I never heard from them again. We know, you know what I'm trying to say. And they will tell me, who are you? You don't know Queen Bee, man. You don't know about gold. Mira, sapo. It went to $3,000. To 3,000. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I said something that was, I would always say, coño, yo estoy loco. I'm crazy. This is going to go to 4,000, ladies and gentlemen. It's at $4,000 and going up, going up. Don't get me started in going up, ladies and gentlemen, and going up. Because this thing of gold, I am telling you, so you guys don't make a mistake. We're not going to be able to, we're not going to be able to be touching, gold. It's going to be too far to buy. I'm going to buy, don't get offended, please. I'm going to buy a little charm for my daughter for her high school graduation. Yeah, the charm will cost you $300, and now it costs you $1,700. You got to think about it. A little charm, a little string, a little charm. Number one daughter, $1,700. You understand what I mean? Look at that. Goldman Sachs raised their prices to $4,900. It's going to the moon, Damon. And people don't want to hear that. And people don't understand lo Hindu and China. They understand it because they don't care if it goes to 4,000. Give me, as an example, give me 100,000 ounces of gold. They don't care because they're thinking. Okay, they have to know, man. They're thinking and they know that this thing is not going to stay at $4,000. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, you got the message already. It's not at 4,000 no more. It's at $4,039.68. And then somebody told me that between 2025 and 2026, gold, listen to what they said. I want to hear, and honestly, please, I want to hear the yes and the no, maybe, whatever. They say by 2025 and 2026, 2026 is around the corner, the gold will be at $4,300 a troy ounce. What do you guys think? You think so? You think so? We're already seeing right now $4,039.68, and it's moving on up. I won't be surprised if tomorrow's at 4,100. I won't be surprised. Oh, there you go, Thurston. There you go. Higher, papi. It's no. How are you gonna tell me that's gonna be 4,000? Okay, look at that. Nelson is saying, está corto. No, yo no estoy corto, Julius. Yo te estoy explicando lo que los gilipollas están hablando. And I say, I look at them because, these people, I have respect for them. And I say, there's no way in the world that this gold can go to $4,300 en el mes del amor, in the month of love, February. No, it's no way in the world. That thing has to be up there. I told you yesterday when I was talking to you, right now I'm talking to you, and gold is just moving on up. It's just moving on up. And papi, we keep on talking about the same thing. Esto no se acaba. It's a capital flight, man. Exactamente. Coño, tú estás claro, papi. Tú estás claro, Thurston. Thurston Howell III is coming blazing. He's coming in blazing too. This is why he wanted me to do a live, because he's blazing today. Mi respeto, Thurston Howell III. Mi respeto. And that's what's happening. This thing is going bananas. Okay, Jonathan. And this is what's happening. And I strongly feel like they said 4,300. I wasn't too convinced on that, but then they used the word. But I think silver is going to replace gold, so the common person can become now the thing, silver. Ahora la plata, a big dog chain. El cubano, the Cuban guy, who used a real big dog chain, 18 karat, 14 karat, and 10 karat. That's going to be out of reach. Papi, do you know how much? Can somebody tell me how much a 400 gram Cuban link chain will cost today? How much would 400 grams 400 grams. No, you can't. The person that bought that chain for $38,000, he can never, you know, if he buys it, tiene que ser un tipo enfermo de verdad, un enfermo de verdad. But you can't buy that chain no more. You can't buy that chain. I know somebody next to me that has that. No, it can't be $35,000. It can't be $35,000. 18 karat, Bobby, 18 karat. 18 karat. And I know somebody that has that. And I said, oh my God, what you have there, bro? You know what you have there? 150 ounce silver isn't out of the question. No, it's not. And this is something why I'm saying it, because we already got this. As students, we already know already that gold is el macho. But the one that's outperforming it is silver, man. I'm telling you, it's, you know, again, I repeat to you, in 2011, it shot up to $48.70. The troy ounce of silver. You know, 80,000 cabillas is $80,000. You know, para un metal, you know, $80,000. Yes, and those are the ones, that's the sleeper, Julius. The sleeper to me, after I thought about it and I composed myself, I said, coño, it's the silver, the one that nobody's really paying mind to. And silver's just moving in like that. And just moving. Because, man, let me tell you, when this thing, which I don't have no doubt in my mind that it's gonna break the Hunt brothers, you know, when they were trying to, you know, corner the market, and silver at $49.45, I believe it's gonna break it. I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was gonna break it today. I said these motherfuckers, I'm sorry I said that. I'm sorry. Just came out. Sorry. Please forgive me. It's not me. It just came out. These motherfroggers, sorry. These motherfroggers are taking this silver all the way up. And they're taking it all the way up. You know, they're taking it all the way up. It's the one, and when I hear the number that they say, you know, 150, 175, $200 an ounce. I know it came out, Nelson. You're right, Papa. It just came out naturally. You know, me using that word to me is like nothing, but I respect too much my public, and I respect myself too much. But I'm very, very sorry that TV tower antenna, you know, it just came out. Me salió. Me salió. So guys, you know, don't overlook silver, man. I'm gonna tell you again, don't overlook silver. Thank you very much, Mr. Donald, for forgiving me. Thank you very much. It's not me. You know, I was thinking, ladies and gentlemen, and right now, something came out of me emotionally. You know, it came out emotionally. But if you look at my channel, I don't practice no foul language. I try to respect everybody. If you throw at me, that means I can throw at you, you know, and we're good to go, right? Thank you very much, Thurston. But ladies and gentlemen, there's channels out there that every third word they use is a bad word. And they don't get no thunder lightning on their TV antenna. And I don't know if that's because I'm talking about something that it doesn't interest them that we should be talking about, or we should be expressing and exchanging ideals. But man, I see that everybody, you know, is using all these things, and they say whatever they want and they get away with murder. And me, I have to be, you know, I gotta be even telling you to help me out with the words, you know, subliminal words, because you know what I'm trying to say, Damon. You know, they don't listen to others, correct? But me, they're listening to me the whole day. You know, so I just wanted to let you know about that, ladies and gentlemen. So again, don't overlook silver. You know, I'm gonna tell you here today, you 20 are lucky to hear this. I'm gonna promote silver, and I'm gonna keep on pushing it, because I honestly think that those gentlemen that told me today is gonna go to 150. 150, $150 a troy ounce of silver. That's crazy. That is crazy. But then when you read all the, the percentages, it tells you, coño, it's outperforming. It's outperforming a gold, silver. And gold is outperforming Bitcoin, Let me tell you something. Si Bitcoin se rebala, if Bitcoin slips, se jodió. It just takes a little slip. A little slip. If you don't know what I mean, you Google it. If Bitcoin slips a little bit, entonces jodió. I told you yesterday, to mine one of those Bitcoins, the energy you got to put out there is $70,000. Okay? Dr. Evil is saying that the demand for silver is even higher. I didn't say that. One of your Brotherhood recovering tomato cans is telling you that. Even higher. I'm telling you what I read, lo que yo leo, what I read, what I look in the computer, what I look in this one, because everybody, Bullion has this, that one, Kitco has this. You know what I'm trying to say? Kitco, Bullion, bing, bang, boom. Everybody, because están todos metidos. I can't hold Bitcoin, And I'm telling you, and I told you something, Bitcoin is digital and gold is physical. Bitcoin is digital and silver is physical. Pero ¿cómo? Why? How can that be? How can a digital sketch be more important than a physical commodity, I don't know if that's called commodity or not. I don't know what it is. But, it doesn't make sense. And I keep on telling you that gold is outperforming. Physical is keen, Alex. Thank you very much. Metric tons of gold has been discovered to date. That's right. It's it. Papi, no hay más. The pawn shops tell me, papi, those little necklace chains, the little ring, the one of those love, how do you call them? I don't know, call those rings when you're gonna get engaged. A love ring, the love ring, no, the promise ring. There were so many promise rings all over the United States. People turning in the promise ring that the kid that was 15 years old gave to the girl 14 years old. A promise ring. There's no more promise rings. There's no more ankle bracelets. There's no more little chains. That's it. That's the scrap gold they want. Y no hay más. There's no more. The promise ring will be silver. Correct. It's going to be the promise ring, like Mr. Donut said, will be silver. Because buying gold es un lujo. How do you say lujo in English? Es un lujo. It's a luxury. You guys don't understand me. Buying gold is a luxury. You want to buy an ounce of gold, it costs you $4,000. A little thing of that gold. $4,000. Give me 2, it costs you $8,000. Give me 10, you know what it is already. It's a luxury, so now they're doing we're going to have to sweep this one. So these lambones and palomos, get used to the idea. The Wagyu beef, papi, coño. The Wagyu beef, papi. The Wagyu beef. Exactamente. La plata va a ser el churrasco, el vacío, la picaña, la entraña. You know what that is? Different cuts of steak. Churrasco. Churrasco, silver's going to be that. But the Wagyu beef, they told me that they put those cows, they put them in, they lift them up. I think that's Kobe beef, They lift them up, they give them some good thing to eat. They never touch the ground. It's unbelievable, those people, what they do to those animals. And then you're going to tell me that McDonald's is selling over 190 billion Big Macs. Where? ¿A dónde? Ladies and gentlemen, and let me tell you something, because I must say this to you, before I signed off, like Mr. Walter Cronkite would say, you know. Mr. Cronkite would say, I'm going to sign off, you know. I want you to know something, ladies and gentlemen, that yes, I've been giving you a watch market update. I have. But ladies and gentlemen, right now, hay que ser un lambón to be putting your money away. If you want to watch, you know, if you want to watch to put it on and you go out with your wife to have a good time, that's not a problem, you know, estamos bien. But if you're buying it because you think that these things are gonna become powerful like gold, come on, papi. No seas pendejo. No seas un lambón y un palomo. You know, come on. You know what I told you about the Cadillac, Cadillac, those things they have in the cars, the Rhodium converter. You know what I'm trying to say? Those people, those kids, with big pliers were going into the car and getting the Cadillac converter. You know what I'm trying to say? And get it. And you know what? You know what they were getting from that big Cadillac converter? A little thing like that of Rhodium, a little thing like that. Pero papi, la gente tan, te digo, even if you say how much gold is in, right now, if you take, and there were so many people, and I was saying it last year, I'm telling you, you can ask anybody here. You know what I'm saying, Achilles. You know I'm right. I was telling you people, listen, they have these 36 millimeter dates, from the 1990, 93, 89, 88. Bobby, you could have bought those watches. Man, you could have bought those watches $11,000, right? $11,000. And those watches have, because I know this because some people have taken out the movement, sold the movement for a G or $1,200, and then the rest they will melt on that 1990 Rolex date. And it has 120 grams. 120 grams. What do we have there? What do we have there? Tell me what do we have there? 120 grams. I think for an ounce is 32 point, por un kilo, no, 32, son 32 gramos, 32 grams, right? 32, no. Thank you very much, right? Coño, I'm still on fire, man. This is me just thinking. Imagine, do you think it's easy that I can talk and at the same time remember and do a little math in my head? It's not easy, guys. But, so you take the 120. You take the 120. You bought the watch for $11,000. Now you're getting 90%. How much? 2 ounces? No, it can't be 2 ounces. 120 is 31 point something the ounce. How much is it? How many ounces you have in 120? How many ounces do we have? 2? But it's 18 karat gold, right? 18 karat gold. Okay, there you go. Okay, so you're making money. People were making money with those watches that nobody wanted. Those 1990, 1988 dates, 36 millimeter, single quick, double quick, whatever, ¿Tú entiendes? Come on, And they were making big money with that. They've been making money with that all day long. They weren't buying that date watch because they wanted. They knew they were gonna disassemble it, and scrap it out, sell the disc, sell the dial, sell the movement, like one of those chops. Chop where they put the cars. You know what I'm trying to say over there in the Bronx. They have a lot of chops over there, a lot of body, you know, whatever, you know. They know, but okay, you said it right. But how long have I been telling you, Mr. Donald, that sketch? How long? How long have I been telling you about that sketch? Nobody listened. I was telling people to buy Daytona, white gold Daytona, the racer dial that nobody wanted. You know, the racer dial Daytona, white gold. Man, they had those watches at one moment. I'm telling you, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, $23,000. You know, it was over polished already. The lugs were like this already, the lugs, you know, but you don't care because that's scrap already. They don't care. Is it right to do that on a watch? No, it's not right, but that's how it is. The white gold Yachtmaster, that it weighs, I don't know how much it weighs. $24,000, $26,000. Those people were buying the watch and that's it. I told you already que la cuna, the crib, la cuna, donde están los más grandes enseñanza of teaching these kids since they're born is over there on 47th Street in the Diamond District. I can make all the fun in the world of them. No, pero eso no le quita. That doesn't take away that these kids are very, very well taught. Very well taught. Don't ever forget that. Wherever you stand, you say, you know Juan Felipe Nieves? He says good things about your people. Esa es la cuna. The cuna means, I'm going to tell you what it is. The cuna is the crib. The crib of where the best salespeople of the jewelry business comes from. They're dirty scoundrels, but that's where they come from. They know how to make a nickel all day, every day. Yes, they do a lot of stage movements. They buy a watch in A and they take it to C and they sell it for a $500 profit. Eso es mentira. That's BS. It can happen every once in a while, but these guys over there, these guys are, you know, you cannot accept, they're like pirates. You cannot take that from them, right, Damon? You can't. And they said, you know, we have the ones over here from Miami, where I grew up in, you know, estos son unos lambones. You know, they're trying to imitate 47th Street, but, you know, they don't, you know, mucha palomilla, you know, too much palomilla, arroz con frijoles negros, tan jodido todavía. Y en vez cuando mezclan, they mix it up, the situation with some other, you know, other products. You know what I'm trying to say? You know, we're not here to, you know, describe too much, you know? Pero eso es lo que hay. But those people from New York City, no, papi. You have to, you know, how are you not going to say, you know, Uncle Johnny, Eddie Monster is not good? You got to give he's good. You know, he's good. You know, si tú te dejas que te hagan así, eso es tu problema. If you let yourself get this, that's your problem. They're just trying. You know, trying. Y eso es lo que hay. So esa gente de la 47, 47 Diamond District, you need to respect them. And then these are the teachers. The rest just mimic them. They mimic them. You know, and that's what it is. So I don't have nothing bad to say about them. I make fun of them. Toothless, Sinbad, the genie skin tight hair with the man bun. You know that? The subway train jumper. You know, the 10 Commandments. You know, 10 Commandment guy with the hat backwards. You know what I'm saying? And he's giving away $5,000 to people. But es un talento. That's a talent, bro. That's a talent. And you cannot kick that. Pero el manganzón que está aquí es un criminal. Te quitan las medias sin quitarte los zapatos. They'll take off your socks off without taking off your shoes. And I'm telling you, nobody, not California, not I don't know, New York, and you know, not the Diamond District, New York, nada. Staten Island, nada. Those people, they're beasts, all right? They're beasts, and I want to just get that clear with all of you that they were that. I have respect for those people over there. You know, they're doing a good job. ladies and gentlemen, I hope, this helps you a little bit more, and the reason I keep on doing this is because, I believe that Thurston Howell III woke me up and told me, hey, come on, go there live and give us a little bit of a push. And this is what I'm doing for you guys, all right? So, you can't compare los lambones, eso, los lambones from over there from Pennsylvania, boxing black eyes and his sidekick Jiminy Cricket with the Chia Pet spray can hair, the Puerto Rican Charlie Brown, Dora the Explorer, the mad scientist. You can't compare esa gonorrea con esta gente, Those people laugh at those people, ¿Tú entiendes? Eso es lo que hay, and I'm giving you all this for free because you guys, deserve all this. And where do I see gold in 2026? I'm telling you, I see it, man. I see it. That's what you're asking me, and I'm going to tell you. I see it in this already. I see it in this. Papi, you guys have all the arsenal you need to understand. I'm telling you, I'm going back. Did the government shutdown end already? No. Did they finish already with Venezuela, Cuba, Nicaragua, Colombia, Mexico? No. We have a situation in Pennsylvania Avenue. Papi, let me tell you, the situation in Pennsylvania Avenue, to me, by Christmas Day, wow. Thurston Howell was saying 5,000 by Christmas Day. Did you hear what? Let me look at it real well. Thurston Howell says by Christmas Day. Hey, down what you put down there, Thurston. I can't understand what you wrote there. Write it down. Okay. 5,000 by Christmas Day, he's saying. Write it down. And it's going too fast, man. It's going too fast. It's going too fast. I mean, you heard one of your buds, one of your subscriber buds from this channel is telling you, write it down, 5,000, because it's going fast. It's really, really going fast, and everybody, ladies and gentlemen, I challenge all of you to look into social media, and I'm telling you, yeah, you're gonna see a couple of watches. Of course, you're gonna see that. You're gonna see watches, but the momentum is in gold, and they know it. Papi, let me tell you, it's the ones that are injecting all those kids over there in 47th Street is the father and the grandfather. The father and the grandfather. Switch it now. Do the crossover now. Esa gente son unas lámparas. Esa gente son unas lámparas. You understand what I'm saying? I can, like I said again, I can laugh all I want with them, pero esa gente son unas lámparas. Eso no se le quita el mérito. No se le quita. And eso está bien. They're taught. They're taught. They're trained. And they're doing the switcheroo. Are you hearing anything about diamonds now? Is anybody buying diamonds? Diamonds. Nobody even wants to see a diamond right now. Nobody wants to see a diamond. Not one person out there. Come on, tell me. Who wants to see a diamond? You don't need a real diamond no more. You go over there and you make a lab diamond, You understand me? Who wants a diamond? Because if you want me to keep on going, I'm going to keep on going. Me vuelvo loco. Who wants a diamond? Nobody wants a diamond. Es una locura. And the thing is that they all know it. And when they see me, the ones in downtown, they'll say, come on, John. They call me John as well, guys, all right? I'm even giving you an insight. They call me John as well. My name is Juan Felipe Nieves, but they call me John as well. They tell me, come on, John, you know what the game is. And I said, wow, it's getting out of control. Yeah, it's what it is. People are moving 700, 800 grams of gold, back and forth, back and forth. And it's the whole day. Mira, así, the whole day. And paying you 98%. and the person is telling you on the 7th floor, come back, I'm gonna go to the bank to pick up something, to pick up a little load, cash. I'm gonna go pick up 150,000. Boom, 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 boom. It's a machine. It's a machine. I don't know where you guys are from, and I don't know if you guys are exposed to see what I see. I don't see it on a daily basis, but when I go one day, I'm gonna see it. I see the movement. And they're looking at points. Looking at points, $1, bing, that, 2 cents, bah, dropping up, down, and it's the whole day. They're buying gold the whole frogging day. I said frog. The whole frogging day they're buying gold. And they don't care. They don't want to see you bringing in, a Bugatti ring. They don't want to see you bring in a Cartier necklace. They want to see scrap. Papi, that's where the money's at, scrap. They would even tell you, hey, it's a crime if you do that, and then they'll tell you, I'll pay you $2 over, this. I'll pay you $5 over this. It depends, a Van Cleef, a Cartier, a Bugatti. You understand me? ¿Tú entendiste? Those kind of names, Kraft, this, boom, not Kraft cheese, Kraft, jewelry, And it's the whole day, they're just moving around gold, like that, the whole day. The scrap, that's it, the big spreads. That's where it's at. So don't think in your mind, I'm gonna go sell to my jeweler this beautiful ring that I have from 1967 that has, 40 grams. They don't care about that. They're gonna take it and melt it. They just weigh it. Hey, you got here 40 grams. I'm gonna pay you 98% what you have there. And you might be thinking, right? You might be thinking, man, he's paying me 98. Check it out. Okay, no sean lambones. Here it goes. You might be thinking, man, shit, he's paying me 98%, of what's gold there, and he's getting a 2. But Bobby, where he's making the big money is on volume and volumen. There's sharks over there in the Civil building. What they're buying is volume. So they take this, this pillow cover, and they put it all there, and they got all this thing, here, pay me by 2 points. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? And that's how it is. And these people are making money. They're not going to take that. And then you ask yourself, should they run to the place? They can't be running back and forth every once in a while. Say, they get stuck with it. It dropped. It dropped. So you have to just wait up again. Boom, here, let it go. I hope I'm making sense to you guys, man. I really hope I am. I'm trying to, get as, as informative as I can, But if this is a business and it's working for those people, I'm telling you, if you take 4,000 grams accumulated, in a week, and you take it out to the refinery, they're gonna pay you. Here's your money. Here's your check. Here's your money, and you make some big money. And this is what these guys are making. They're making big money because they're buying whatever it is. Whatever it is. Let's say you have one of those. Us Catholics, we have a lot of. Right now, it is a bad time. You had the chance to buy it, but right now it is. People. So you understand. I'm going to give you this last one so I can close this chapter. I've been trying to close it. People, a lot of Latin people have a lot of different gold spiritual symbols in their house. Saint Teresa, a Christ, and some of those parts of those little figures. Please try to help me out. If you go to Catholic Church, they have I don't even know how they're called those figures. I don't know how they call it. Exactly. It's saint. Papi, you're not gonna believe this. You know, because I gotta tell you things so it penetrates, and when you go to bed, you say, man, that Juan Nieves really tries to, just make it simple for us, because somebody told me a while ago, he told me, Juan, keep it simple for them, keep it simple. And I'm trying to. So they take those figures, right? Like this figure right here, right? And then this figure right here is gold, This stick, the slapstick is gold. So what they do is, those households here in Miami, we have a lot of Latin people here, Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Dominicans, Nicaragua, Colombians, Venezuela, and they take those things off. They have like a sword, and it's 18 karat gold. They take it out. Then they have one that has a little cup, like a little wine cup, They take that cup out, melt it. I'll put a plastic one with gold, and I'll put a plastic one with a toothpick there, and that's it. Everybody. Did you guys understand what I said? Because I don't want to sound like a lambón. You understand me or no? No creo que no me entendieron esta gente. Pero se me fueron todo el mundo. Right, Alex? That's it. Yeah. And they sell it. Some of them have some of those saint figures. Saint, right? Saint figures. They even have gold shoes. They take them off. Ay, Dios mío. I gotta do this. He knows I was playing. Hallelujah. So that's what's going on. Even the slippers are falling off from all those saints. La Caridad del Cobre. I don't know if you guys notice, every once in a while, I take everything off, and, I'll take my watch off, and I'll stay naked. I feel better naked, So there it is, guys. Tomorrow, I'm going to have a watch market update for you guys. Tomorrow I'll have it. Today it's a little bit late. I think we touched, enough of this conversation. I hope now they look now they look homeless. But you know what I'm saying, you got so many, us Latin people, and I don't know if Americans, they do that, but us Latin people, we have a little saint. Look, an example, guys. Okay, look, me. This is my saint. You see? Here they are. These are my saints, right? But they're here. There's just a little string that I have. And I've had this one here like for 7 years. And this one here, I'm going to tell you the whole thing. This one here, the little caps fell off, right? they fell off. No, yo no soy santero. I'm a Catholic. I'm a strong Catholic. And they fell off, but this one has been with me. This string you see here, if I tell you how long it's been this one with me, you're not going to believe me. 11 years. So it's there. I feel protected, with that, and us Latin people, we have all these different saints, and we pray to them and we meditate to them, But even though if they meditate to them, and pray to them, they'll take off their shoes off without taking off their socks. Guys, thank you so much for joining me in this Watch Market Update show. I hope you guys really, really enjoy something. You enjoy this. You enjoy something that I said, I hope you guys, learn something today. That's the whole idea of the show, that you guys learn something, all right? I really mean that. I want to thank all of you for being here. I really appreciate that. 24 organic watch channel subscribers is amazing. One thing I want to tell you is, I really don't practice putting down a little a reminder, a thumbnail saying that my show, I put it on at 10 o'clock in the morning, that my show is coming up tonight at 8 o'clock. I don't do that. I'm more of a spontaneous person. If I feel like, doing like, Thurston Howard III, he injected me and I just came live. Maybe if I start putting my thumbnail through the whole day or day before, maybe, the house will get more filled up of different people coming to see the live. But this is the way I do it. Soy un lambón. I'm totally different. Guys, thank you so much again for being here with me today again. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video. And like I say always, take care and brush your hair. Good night, guys. Peace.